Hey, welcome back to the channel, TrainStation 2. Alright, the fifth competition has started, and you know what? I made that guy again, Muskie. So I think the developer has indeed changed the whole grouping work, how it work out here is really they try to group all peoples of the same levels together, and probably they may also have somewhat group people with the same company value. So that's why I've been meeting this guy for, I think, this is the third time in 4 competitions. Actually, this is the fifth competition itself, but however, I did not make it for one of it. So this is actually my fourth competition in a way, but I've been meeting this guy, also called I've met this guy for 3 times. So it is quite obvious. I mean, something is very wrong. I'm trying to avoid him by staggering my starting time. So what I do this competition is that I start earlier than normal. Normally I will start like 12 hours or more than that, but for this one I try to start early so that I wouldn't catch him. But unfortunately, so I'm just going to share with you my thoughts about this Japanese event. I mean, by the fifth competition, by right, you should have already heard what I want to say about how to prepare for it. This is prior to the fifth competitions. Definitely, as usual, just a very quick summary before I share my thoughts about this whole event. If you're new to the video, let me share more. I'll prepare definitely 3 sets of EP head start. Of course, if you could prepare those of a higher EP head start, right? So that's what I usually do. So what I mean by EP head start is really you prepare all the 3 customers' requests, do not collect it until the start of the competition, so that once you started the competition, you don't start with 0, you straight away start with whatever number the EP you have collected from the 3 customers, right? So that's always the case. And if you could get, for example, 50 EP per customer, you would have 150 EP as a good head start, and that's quite good. And I think based on what the later part of this video, you'll see quite a number of them get 155. I think that's the max of the EP they can get from 3 customers. So that's just one. Besides that, you're going to prepare a lot of those paper products because this is a Japanese event, right? So basically, in any event, you're just going to prepare all the event products, store in the warehouse, and only store them. And as for the other things, you just store in the factory itself. Like for example, this sawmill, I'm trying to create a lot of items, likewise iron mill and whatnot. Just pack it to the brim. Make it sure that you have all the finished product at the output tray, and you have all the so-called things to be prepared to be manufactured into the finished product in the input tray, right? So basically your production will store because you already lay out all the output tray in full capacity, right? So you already done what you could, right? So why so? Because by having the output tray, I think it's easy to understand. It's like a grab and go, right? So if you are lucky, they ask for the items you have in the output tray, you grab and you deliver. This saves a lot of time. So you're going to be very wise in terms of choosing which are the ones you're going to make and then put in the output tray. Choose, of course, those that take the longest time, because you have time on your hand right now. You have easily sometimes about 24 hours at the end of the, for example, the 4th competition before the start of the 5th competition. So for that, you're just going to prepare all the way with the longest products, alright? And of course, you should also have a mixture of products sometimes, because it's like a lucky draw. You don't know what will come out. So if you have a mixture, you have a higher probability, right? So like for example, a lucky draw, you buy a few more tickets, you're hoping for a better percentage of getting it, right? So it's the same concept. Or you can focus on just one product. So you're banging on all your money into one, and then eventually, when that product is being asked, you strike the lottery, right? So that's one, right? But the consequences of that is that if that item is not asked and you only have that item, you'll take a long time to produce the other items, and henceforth you can't actually have your trains work to your full capacity to keep on delivering. Alright, so that is the flip side on not having a staggered, also called the multiple products decision, right? So if you make on concentrate on one product, that is the consequences. So of course, there are certain factories that you should just make one product. So let me just give you an example. Copper, that is the only product I will make, right? Because steel, I can grab it from steel factory, so that's perfectly fine, because it's basically still a grab and go. You do not need to make steel. You go to the steel factory, and then you grab it and you deliver. Likewise, copper, you should have it already in the input output tray, packed to the brim, so that there's no need for you to make. You can just deliver for the output tray, and for the input tray, there's no need for you to waste time to collect those raw materials so that you can start making your copper. Alright, so this is how you work for the copper. But as for the others, like, I mean, if you have milk, maybe cheese, and probably salt, so what do you make then? Okay, I'll try to make a mixture of the three. Right, so that's how I intend to do it. Alright, so this is the mix and match kind of arrangement of what you want to produce. So though this the 6 core factories, you should do all the same. Manufacturer, you can see here, only copper. Alright, so then back to the Japanese factory. For this, you always take a look at what the event asks for. So if you ask for certain things like origami, they ask for the crane origami, and then they ask for like the calligraphy, the lucky cat and whatnot, then you got to understand what does each of them made up of. So if you take a look at the product line in this Japanese event, you realize majority of them are made out of paper. So in that case, the most precious commodity in this event is definitely paper. You're going to make tons of them. You're going to make probably hundreds of them, or even if possible 1,000 of them at standby. But you have always a temptation to convert them into the finished product. That's good, because making paper is a couple of minutes, but making that final product sometimes could be half an hour. So again, what would you do? Would you want to store your so-called Japanese factory to the brim and then store the production? No, never do that. Alright, so for the event factory, it must be live, which means that it must be running 24 hours. So in that context, what I'm trying to say is that your factory output tray cannot be filled with anything if possible. Try to have all the slots expanded easily. I would say minimally 1, if possible 2. What I did, I was expanded 2 slots. So with that, I have 4 slots, and of course with that 4 slots, I'll make sure the 4 slots are empty, so that eventually when I'm producing the items, it will always be able to lay out in all 4 slots. Alright, so that is how I do it. And you can see this lucky cat was something that I have missed in the last one, so I make sure I have 1,000 of them. So again, I mean, they got to prioritize. Sometimes luck played a part. If you prepare a lot of lucky cat and lucky cat doesn't come, that's just too bad. I mean, that's part and parcel of the game. So in the previous event, I prepared a lot of calligraphy sets, a lot of cranes, but unfortunately lucky cat came about. So this time around I'll do lucky cat, but let's see how it works out. So again, all this depends on luck. And of course, I'm going to tell you this, not only the paper is important, the rice is important as well. So if you have time, collect all the raw materials, which is these 2 only, and then pack them to the brim in your warehouse, but not in the Japanese factory. Alright, so you continuously produce these Japanese finished products, store them in your warehouse, and only these items, if possible, cleared away those other non-Japanese items, and eventually you have a warehouse full of Japanese items, which will always be asked during an event. An event will always ask for event items most of the time, and non-event items some of the time. So in a ratio of assuming every 4 cycles of asking items, I will say 3/4 or very near 3/4, you are asking the event items. So you got to be smart in that context. Alright, so now back to Japanese event. So this is my thought of this Japanese event. It is very unlike what other events I have played so far. Alright, you can see here I started late, that's obvious, but I'm being ranked all the way down. This is not usual, okay? And even after I do a EP head start and I collected all those 3 customers, I'm only being propelled all the way up to probably 7th place. So my feel about this event is that they make it really tough for competitors to frustrate you, so eventually you'll be asked to yourself whether you would decide to actually pay to win by buying gems. So I believe this is the change in the event methodology to squeeze money out of us. So do not fall for that trap. I will try to see how I can devise a different plan in the next event, because with this event, which I 100% completed, there's no way out right now. So for me, I'm just hoping for this event to end soon, and I would to claim my samurai train, because I just want to maintain 7 positions in this last event for 100 event coins. Alright, thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Goodbye.